Peace be with you. I'm Don McCrabb, Executive Director of the United States Catholic Mission Association, and I would like to try and summarize our open conversation about the extraordinary missionary month that we just held last week. I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see what we covered. First, there was about 23 of us gathered together. And of course, as we do in all things, we started with a moment of prayer, asking our Lord Jesus to send his Spirit to enlighten us and open our hearts to do what he would have us to do in mission. Second, what we wanted to do is we wanted to revisit the 4 dimensions. Now, this was outlined by Cardinal Filoni, the prefect for the Congregation of the Evangelization of Peoples. Now, those 4 goals are clearly stated here on the screen. 1, we want to have a personal encounter with Jesus in and through his church, in and through his missionary church. Second, we want to tell the story of mission. And an excellent way of doing that is by telling the story of missionary saints. That's one of the things that we have focused on this past year at USCMA. Third, we want to help form the faithful in Missio Agentes. That's a unique approach to understanding what the church is all about. The church has a mission. It has a mission that's been given to it from Jesus. We frequently say that it's not that the church has a mission, it's that the mission has a church. And finally, we need to respond to our baptismal call to do mission, and that involves mission charity, the gift of our time, our talent, and our treasure. We also took a moment just to recall what Benedict XV asked of us. Benedict XV wrote an apostolic letter in 1919 called Maximum Uliote. That was the reason for this extraordinary missionary month. Our current Holy Father, Pope Francis, wanted us to remember what Benedict XV said 100 years ago. Now, to help us appreciate that, you have to understand the context that he was in. It was 2 years after World War I, and he called for a clear proclamation of the gospel, not colonization, but evangelization. He spoke in favor of an indigenous church. Indeed, a couple of years after he wrote this apostolic letter, he himself began to appoint bishops from the indigenous bishops from the countries that they were in. Third, he wanted to emphasize that the church by its very nature was missionary. And last, he wanted to avoid a false dichotomy between the evangelization of people in our secular cultures and Missio Agentes. Both are in need of the pure proclamation of the gospel. Then the conversation moved towards implementation. Oh, skipped a slide there. It moved towards implementation. 4 key ideas: gather, tell, invite, and discern. Gather. One very popular way is to have a mass with the bishop celebrating mission. This is a great way to bring the entire diocese or a city, a deanery together to celebrate mission. Some of the religious communities were doing something very similar, but with a twist. What they would do is they would have a special liturgy to celebrate that congregation, that religious community's unique contribution to mission, enculturation, for example, or justice, or inter-religious dialogue, celebrating some unique contribution that they have to mission. The next thing, of course, is telling. And one of the things that was stressed was that you want to keep the story of mission very close to the local church. So one diocese is going to create a video of how that local church has been involved in mission. Another diocese is going to call forth the 12 mission-related organizations within the diocese to tell their stories. The Archdiocese of Cincinnati is going to be focusing on the story of Dorothy Stang, who was a missionary in Brazil. Another diocese, for example, might emphasize Father Stanley and his contribution to mission. Keep the stories local. Other dioceses will be taking some of the resources that have been generated by the Pontifical Mission Societies, take those resources and make them manageable, send them out every day, trying to reach out to people, tell the story in a variety of ways, through video, social media, those kind of things. Then a third thing is what we want to do is we want to invite people to consider the whole range of mission, And there's two continuums here. First, where does mission happen? Mission happens in our neighborhoods, across our country, and around the world. So Pope Francis has talked about mission, and it's not so much where as when and who. Therefore, mission can happen within our neighborhood. Do we have a commitment to the homeless in our neighborhood? Are we walking with them through thick and thin over the long haul? That's mission. Are we reaching out to the inner cities? Or are we reaching out to Appalachia? Or are we reaching out to the Indian reservations? That could be mission at home across the country. There's over 80-some mission dioceses within our country. There's a lot of work to do here at home. And then, of course, there's global mission, reaching out to other countries. So the invitation is for the faithful to appreciate the breadth of mission. Second, the other continuum is the response. The response to mission could be through spiritual solidarity or by crossing some kind of borders. We call this the St. Teresa of Lisieux strategy and the St. Francis Xavier strategy. Those are the two patron saints of mission. And some of us are called to a spiritual solidarity with missionaries, and some of us are called to a more active approach to mission, which takes us across some kind of border, whether it's across town, across the country, or around the world. So that's the third, an invitation to the depth and breadth of mission. And finally, fourth, is missionary charity. How are we going to give our time, our talents, and our treasure to support the missions of the church? Now, I want you to make sure that you breathe here, because there's a lot of people who are just beginning to think about how they're going to implement the Extraordinary Missionary Month. We had about 23 people on the conference call. About half of them just listened because they're just beginning their planning. So breathe. It's okay. You've got time to prepare for meaningful celebrations. I want to go back. I forgot one piece here. The last piece was discern. Now, no one really had a program about that, but as you listen to the conversation, you could hear that what's underneath all of this is that we want to engage the faithful in their missionary call. All of us are baptized into mission. So we want to engage the faithful. How are they hearing their call to mission? And we want to accompany them in their discernment, because they need to discern how they are going to respond, right? So what's their response to the call to mission that they received in baptism? So you can see how we want to gather the people, we want to tell the story, we want them to invite them into the nature, to the, if you will, the breadth and scope of mission, and then, of course, be with them as they discern their response. Okay, now that we've had a breath, we do have resources that are available to you. Obviously, Missio is a great source of resources, and they have a whole web page to support the Extraordinary Missionary Month. One of the resources that the Evangelization of Peoples and the Pontifical Mission Societies created was this book called Baptized and Sent. And we have some copies. We can send you a hard copy if you'd like to have a hard copy. I find it helpful, you know, just to have this hard copy here on your bookshelf, and you can easily refer to it. I find that very helpful. And you might want to order that. We have it available for $12 just to cover cost of shipping and handling. So please go ahead and order yours today. You need to be transparent here. It's also available online. So that link is on our website. This little summary that I'm doing is available in written form, and all the resources and the links there are available to you. And that will accompany the email that we send out to all of our members. Okay, last, I want to stress that we want to accompany you through this whole process. So if you have ideas, send them to me, and we can continually update our resource page. If you'd like to have this conversation again, or a little bit of a webinar on what people are doing for the Extraordinary Missionary Month, let me know, and we'll try and organize that. So this is, again, Don McCrabb, the summary of the open space conversation about the Extraordinary Missionary Month. We have resources on our website, and there are resources on the Pontifical Mission Society. Thanks for your time. Take care, and God bless.